Fatherland videos. Tonight, we have a folktale coming from Polynesian. Tonight's book read is dedicated to the people of love. There's a lot of negative talk and bad wishing upon people. They on a different boat than we are on. Their boat is crashing. They on a slave boat. We on a boat of love, protected by the Most High. So don't pay no attention to them people that always speaking negative. They speaking about vengeance. They speaking about revenge. They speaking about hate. Their ship is crashing. This one goes out to the people of love who still speak what's in their holy book, who still worship at their holy places. We have a beautiful picture coming out of this folktale read tonight. And I hope y'all enjoy it. Tonight's folktale read is coming from the book of Tales of Polynesia. Illustrations by Yelaine Chegwus. We're here on page 133. Do no hopus cave, a tale of Oro Toro. Green headlands dipping to the rocky points, fringed with
pohotokoa trees that glow with crimson blossoms in midsummer give topographic charm to the generally low shores of Lake Rotoro. One is romantic Oata, the ancient home of Hinimoa, she who swam the lake for love of Tuteneka. Another, nearer Rotoro town, is Kawaha Point. I rested in its vendor. It is a little over a mile to the westward of the Ohinmotu Hot Springs village. The rock-strewn top of the cave is called Tirangi Karata. On the hilltop are the grassy trenches and ramparts of ancient fort at the Matare. The point with its great masses of stone. There once was a fishing village. A little way around the point to the north lies a rocky islet covered with shrubs. Near this insulated mass of rhyolite, there is a cave with a rock arch entrance, half screened by bushes and ferns. It is a story cave, a refugee place of long ago. The name by which it is known in the Hirhoto unwritten story of Kawaha is the Anutonohopu. Here, on the lakeshore, 200 years ago, there lived a chief named Tunohopu with his wives and children and slaves. The hence hamlet stood. On the beach, near the point, there were 4 or 5 children. One little boy called Te Oropu Ro. Just before dawn, one morning, the sleeping Kanga was aroused by the yells of a band of armed men, a small roving To'o of the Nagati Turooto tribe from Topo. The enemy burst into the village and slew most of the people before they had time to seize a weapon or launch a canoe. Most of the Kawaha dwellers happened to have gone across to Mokei Island, so that Tonohopu had very few of his warriors by his side. Realizing that only instant flight could save him and his children, my Morea narrator did not mention the wives, who were apparently of less account. Tunuhopu darted out of his where, taking his children with him, and made for the water. He snatched up his spear as he jumped from his sleeping mat, and with this he ran one of the enemies through as he left the house. Rushing down to the lake under cover of darkness, he waded out to the rocky islet near the point, carrying 2 of his children and the others following. Then he and the little ones cautiously waded across to the shore again and crept into the cave, where they were completely sheltered. But Tunuhopu now discovered that his youngest child, the little boy, Tereopo, was missing. He had been lost in the confusion and was now either dead or a captive. The fugitive family remained in the cave of refuge until their enemies had gone. The Topu men did not remain long. They set fire to the village and then made off southward. The Mokei people, on seeing the burning Kanga, manned their war canoes and came dashing across the lake. And the warriors, pursuing the Nagati Durohoto, came up with the rear guard and killed 7 men. But most of the raiders got clear away, and they carried with them as a trophy the infant Te Oporo, slung in a flax basket on a man's back. He was a captive of Tamamutu, the leader of the war party. Tunuhopu sorrowed greatly for his lost child. At last he heard the little Te Oporopu was alive and was well treated by Tamamutu at his Topu home. The father resolved to recover the boy, to have raised a war party and marched down to the country of Nagati Duoroto. Would have pleased him well, but he doubted if he would assist him to regain his child. So, in the year following the raid of Kawaha, Tunuhopu set off for war for Topu, all alone. After a journey of more than 60 miles, the father reached the place where Tamamutu's village stood and cautiously reconsidered it. Outside the fence of the pa, he saw a small boy and asked him, "Where is Tumumutu's house?" The boy directed him to a village carved building in the center of the village. Tunuhopu boldly walked into the village, unnoticed, and without hesitation, entered the house occupied by the chief. It was walking into the lion's den, for the 2 tribes were still enemies. Tamumutu, intensely surprised and marveling at his foreman's audacity in venturing alone into the midst of adversaries, greeted his visitor with the ceremonious politeness of the Morai Rangatira. Tunuhopu told him why he had journeyed there from Rotoro. He longed for his captive son and had come to recover him or die. "You shall have your child," said Tamumutu. "But first the tribe must see you and know all about it." It was near evening, and Tamumutu said he would presently announce Tunuhopu's presence to the tribe. "And how?" he said. "You must adorn yourself and attire yourself in fine garments, and throw aside those worn peru which you wore on your long journey from Rotoro, for I wish you to look noble and chieftain-like before your enemies." So Tunuhopu laid aside his tattered flax mats and dressed and oiled his hair and fastened it with a bone heru or comb in the ancient fashion, and in the heel placed plumes of huabur, the badge of chieftainship, and he girded himself with finely woven soft flax kilt, and over his shoulders he put a long ornamental bordered black tassel cloak of the same material, presented to him by Tamumutu. And then, at his host's request, he stood at the doorway of the house, looking out on the Maori with his tahaya, or spear staff, in his hand. Tamamutu walked out into the Mare, the village square, and cried in a loud voice, "He tuai! He tuai!" Instantly, the pa was in commotion. Men seized their spears and clubs and ran to the various kuwuha, or the gateways of the pa, to look for the supposed enemy. No sooner Had they had time to gaze around and wonder where the Tua was, the Tamamutu, having quickly climbed to the roof of his dwelling, cried, Hi Tua I! Hi Tua Koaruia Kiatapo! The Nia I! The Nia Keroto! I Te Rawea! And when the astonished people rushed to the chief's house, there they saw the old enemy, Tunohopu, standing at the doorway, a noble figure in chiefly garb, the emblem of chieftainship adorning his head, and his long red plume taia in his hand. Many a warrior would have given battle to the stranger, but he was their chief's guest, and within the shelter of the sacred threshold. The house was soon crowded with the tribal's people, eager to hear their chieftain's explanation of Tunuhopu's unexpected presence there. Tamamutu addressed them, telling them the reason of Rotoro's warriors single-handed. His single-handed expedition, and when he had ended, exclamations of admiration and wonder burst from the people. And then Tamamutu said, Bring hither Tunuhupu's child, that the father may have his son again. And the little boy was brought in and restored to the father, who wept over his child, and pressed nose to nose in the greeting of the Hongi and the chanted of the song of joy and salutation. And peace was made between the two tribes. That night, Tamamutu and his chief men made orations in which they declared that there would now be an end of enmity. And Tonuhupu said that he was filled with gratitude and love for his late enemies because of the recovery of his child, who was lost, but was now found. The visiting chief remained there for many days, an honored guest of the tribe, and he was mightily feasted, and many gifts were given him. And when he left for his home again, a routine of bearers accompanied him to carry loads of preserved birds, the tui, kaka, and the pigeon, potted in bark cases, hermetically scaled, and other foods of topu as presents for the people of Kauai, so happily ended Tunuhopu's adventure. And from the brave chief of Kauai down to his descendant, Tua Tuteneki Herohuka, who told me this story. There are 8 generations of men, and the name of Tuo subclan of the Arawas Nagati Tunuhopu.
to the people who live by the word of God, or whatever religion that makes you live peaceful and you worship at your temples. This book read tonight is dedicated to you. Do not pay attention to these people who speak evil, who speak vengeance, who speak judgment upon the people living in hardship and poverty in all these hard-stricken types of situations. Their ship is crashing. Rejoice in love and live by the religious and spiritual ways of your ancestors and speak their love language. And let these people of hate, let their ship crash. Their ship is crashing right now.